Hello, and welcome to today's podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to share what I would do if I started learning English again. Whether you are just beginning or you want to improve, these tips can help you learn faster and more effectively. I'll talk about 5 important steps that I would follow if I were starting my English journey from the beginning. These steps are simple, easy to follow, and will help you make fast progress in learning English. 1. Start with the basics. Learn common phrases. If I started learning English today, the first thing I would do is learn the basics. I would start with common phrases and greetings. This is important because it helps you communicate in simple situations, like meeting new people or ordering food at a restaurant. Some basic phrases you should learn are, hello, how are you? What's your name? Where are you from? I don't understand. Can you repeat that? By learning these common phrases, you can begin to use English right away. You'll feel more confident, and it will be easier to communicate with others. Don't worry about learning everything all at once. Start with small, useful phrases and practice them every day. The second thing I would do if I started learning English is practice listening every day. Listening is one of the most important skills when learning a language. I would start by listening to simple podcasts, children's shows, or YouTube videos in English. At first, I might not understand everything, but that's okay. The key is to practice consistently. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain will get used to the sounds and rhythm of English. Start with slow English, and then try to move on to faster content. It's important to listen to English every day, even if it's only for 10 to 15 minutes. The more you listen, the easier it will become to understand English. 3. Use subtitles to help you understand. If I were learning English again, I would use subtitles to help me understand better. When I first started learning, I watched TV shows and movies with English subtitles. This helped me see the words and understand the meaning of what I was hearing. Sometimes I didn't understand a word, but seeing it written on the screen helped me learn it. I would start with shows that have simple language and use English subtitles, so I can follow along. After some time, I would try watching without subtitles to see how much I can understand. Subtitles are a great way to connect what you hear to what you see, which helps improve your vocabulary and pronunciation. 4. Speak English. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. One of the biggest things I would do is practice speaking English as much as possible. It's easy to be scared to speak because you might be afraid of making mistakes, but that's part of the learning process. If I started learning English again, I would find someone to practice with. I would use language exchange apps, talk to friends, or even talk to myself in English. It's important to speak, even if you make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning, and the more you speak, the better you will get. If you don't have anyone to talk to, try speaking out loud when you're by yourself. For example, you can describe what you're doing, like, I'm making lunch, or I'm going to the store. Speaking even when you're alone helps you get used to forming sentences and improves your fluency. 5. Learn new words every day. If I were starting to learn English again, I would learn new words every day. Every day, I would learn at least 5 new words and try to use them in sentences. To do this, I would read books, listen to podcasts, or watch shows and write down words I didn't know. I would then look them up and practice using them. One method I found really helpful was making flashcards. I could write the word on one side and its meaning or an example sentence on the other side. Then, I would review these cards regularly to remember the words. Learning new vocabulary is very important because it helps you understand more and speak more clearly. 6. Use apps to practice listening and speaking. The next step I would take is to use language learning apps. Apps like Duolingo, Memrise, or Babbel are great tools for beginners. These apps help you learn vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation in a fun and interactive way. I would set aside time every day to use these apps for practice. These apps also have exercises where you can practice speaking and listening. It's a good way to train your ear and get used to speaking. The more you practice with apps, the more natural your English will become. 7. Watch simple English videos or TV shows. If I started learning English again, I would watch TV shows or videos designed for beginners. There are many educational channels on YouTube that teach English in a fun and simple way. These shows and channels speak slowly and use easy words, which is great when you're starting. For example, shows like Peppa Pig or Sesame Street are perfect for beginners because they use simple sentences and slow speech. These shows are fun, and you can learn new words while being entertained. After some time, you can move on to more difficult shows or videos, but always start with content that is easy for you to understand. 8. Be consistent. Practice every day. One of the biggest secrets to learning English quickly is being consistent. If I started learning English today, I would make it a habit to practice every day. Even if it's just for a short amount of time, daily practice is very important. It's better to study for 10 to 15 minutes every day than to study for an hour once a week. I would set small goals for myself. For example, today I want to learn 10 new words, and tomorrow I'll listen to a podcast for 20 minutes. Small goals help you stay motivated and give you a sense of progress. The more you practice, the faster you will learn. 9. Set realistic goals for your learning. Another important thing I would do is set realistic goals. Learning English can take time, and it's easy to feel frustrated if you expect to learn everything in a short time. So, I would set small, achievable goals. For example, my first goal would be to understand a simple conversation. My second goal would be to watch a movie in English without subtitles. Setting goals helps you stay on track and gives you something to work towards. When you achieve a goal, it will motivate you to keep going. 11th, practice speaking with yourself. If I started learning English again, I would practice speaking by myself. Sometimes it's hard to find someone to practice speaking with, but that doesn't mean you can't improve. I would talk to myself in English about simple things, like my day or what I'm doing. For example, if I was cooking, I would say, I am cutting vegetables. Or if I was walking, I would say, I am walking to the store. This helps build confidence and fluency because you are practicing speaking without pressure. Try speaking English aloud every day. Even if you don't have someone to speak with, it will help you get used to speaking in English. 12. Join online language exchange groups. Another important thing I would do if I started learning English is to join online language exchange groups. There are many websites and apps where you can find native speakers to practice with, like HelloTalk or Tandem. These platforms let you chat or have voice conversations with people who speak English, and you can help them learn your language too. This is a great way to practice real conversations with people from different countries. Language exchange also lets you learn how native speakers talk in everyday situations and helps improve your listening and speaking skills. 13. Read simple English books. If I were starting to learn English today, I would read simple books in English. Reading books for beginners helps you learn new vocabulary and see how sentences are structured. There are many short stories, children's books, or graded readers specifically designed for learners. For example, I would start with books like The Very Hungry Caterpillar or simple mystery stories. As I get better, I would move to more challenging books. Reading regularly will improve your vocabulary and help you get used to sentence structures, which is very important for speaking and writing. 14. Write in English every day. Another step I would take is to write in English every day. Writing is a great way to practice new words and grammar. I would start by writing short sentences or even a few lines in a journal. For example, I could write about my day or my plans for the week. I could also write about topics I enjoy, like music, movies, or sports. By writing in English, you are practicing your grammar, sentence structure, and vocabulary. It also helps you think in English, which makes speaking and writing easier over time. 15. Review and revise regularly. The final thing I would do if I started learning English is to review and revise regularly. It's easy to forget what you've learned, so I would make a habit of reviewing new words and grammar rules every week. I would go back to my flashcards, listen to old podcasts, and reread the books I've read. Revising regularly helps reinforce what you've learned and helps you remember it longer. Also, don't forget to test yourself. I would quiz myself to see how much I remember and where I need to improve. So, if I started learning English today, I would follow these steps. Start with the basics, listen every day, use subtitles, practice speaking, learn new words, use apps, watch simple videos, be consistent, set realistic goals, and be patient. These steps helped me improve quickly, and I'm sure they will help you too. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and you'll see improvement in no time. Thanks for listening, and I hope these tips help you on your English learning journey.